So can I ask a question with a line? Can one ask a clear, precise question with a line? What if I say that I ask the question related to let's say I have a question that seems to me important, related to how does one discern the caliber of presence? Like, I want to say, I need to invoke a certain kind of presence, or I want to be in the true dimension of my story. But it's not about a thought. Like if I say a word or say a name, it's not enough. Or if I have a certain imagination. So I ask myself about how does one discern qualities of presence? How does one discern qualities of presence? And to ask such a question, I need to be really, like, to awaken the importance. I need to ask a question with all of my being, so I need to call in all the types of positions, like all the kinds of experiential position that find it crucial or that understand it. So how does one get clear about the caliber of a certain presence? How does one get clear about the caliber of a certain form of presence? How does one enter the discipline of discerning qualities? It's a bit like asking, How will I trust your intelligence, or will I trust your intelligence? Or how do I long for your presence? How intelligent can I trust you to be? How exciting can this life get? So I can say, I'm afraid of how life felt as a child, or in my later years. I'm afraid of how life felt. I'm afraid of the way that life feels in the common sense. Just, this is so clear. I have a great fear of how life feels in the common conception of life. If I'm alone in a forest or in my room, this is how we define it, as just being alone. And I'm afraid, just like I could be a sort of discarded avatar that has tasted life, but then maybe for some reasons becomes redundant, irrelevant, or uninteresting. So then it gets back to some vegetal state. I can have this fear. Maybe I'm afraid that life will not get more intense than this, or that I will lose whatever I feel as true life now. It's just that in Romania life felt very stupid, and it's the accumulation of all my experiences in those years related to the concept of life being like really meaningless. So I will stand in a question in a certain way, in a certain method that I will ask, how does one discern and establish and shape and create the perception of quality of presence? How does one handle the perception of quality of presence? How does one understand the nature of the quality of presence? There's a limited range of forms of expression, types of language that I can choose now. I can see this, and this is a sign of, like, I would feel very limited, kind of paralyzed. I would feel paralyzed. So maybe these friends really decided to do something about it. Maybe these friends in these conditions, right here and right now, just decided to do something about it. What if these friends present thus really had the stance, the stamina to decide something like this? Meaning, I decide to step out of this belief in objective material universe. What if these friends could decide such a thing? So when I ask about like this sort of fictional language, so I can shift my speaking into a fabric of speech that is in the, let's say, the format of fiction writing. And I would wish this kind of speaking to be in intimate lovemaking with any other type of speech. So I can see this as a useful practice or useful capacity to be able to shift seamlessly from a type of configuration of speech into another. Like a certain context would, a certain life, like if you have the life of a writer, their whole life would be a sort of their whole experiential configuration would give them a solid standing into fictional speech. They would have strong ability to stand in such speech because of their configuration of life. But let's say I want to be able to combine some kind of natural observation. So if I would speak of natural speech, I would say I am in a room inside a house. I may go into the kitchen and say hi. I look at this battery charger and there's this light flickering and I don't know what to do about it. Seems like a malfunction. It's kind of disturbing. I can just flip it so that I no longer see it. So this is kind of natural speech. I'm speaking in front of a camera because I trust a sort of practice of publishing. Like I give a certain value to the way I can speak, and then I record myself and I publish it. This is rather like, in a way, philosophical analysis. Like I produce an example of what natural speech would be in the context of some sort of philosophical observation. So I can say that I have a certain philosophical texture of motive. And I can be honest with a natural description of where I am and what I'm doing. It's a certain taste of honesty, a certain species of honesty. So I can somehow travel with my mind through physical space to observe where I am and what I define myself to be, what I define the meaning of, what I instinctually, naturally define as a meaning of existence now. And it's maybe the most available, let's say, the easiest. But my research is actually that like if I stand in my practice enough and I am insistent enough and I am applied enough, I become able to shape the narrative feeling of my life. And somehow this is what I'm after. And then I ask myself, like generally there's no need to change any objective configuration about your life. It's enough to shift, let's say, the narrative feeling or the feeling of it, the quality of it, the resonance of certain belief. So I guess one can be honest with the type of purpose of their practice, and maybe thus being honest and clear, I can just touch the fruit of this pursuit, if there is such a thing. So let's say they decided that they will establish such a possibility. This helps that I'm able to draw kind of a figure to understand what morphology of presence I am building with this like if I say they decided this to be possible in this reality, like I stand with this question, I don't need to explain it now. They decided that this shall be accessible to humans. They decided that this shall be possible in this world. So it's somehow something I really long for, like I just want to be in this place where this, like, it's a way of traveling to that logical place where such a sentence is I don't know, true or functional. A sentence is functional in a certain place. This is related to realization. Like I say, they decided that this shall be available to humans. They decided that this capacity shall be possible for humans. I don't like this finger, it doesn't fit with what I'm saying. And this line does not fit with what I'm saying. If I do it I can even make it thicker. So I say, like a sentence is enough. I'm not really like I wish to stand in the mode of motive of a writer, but I'm not really interested in writing a story. I'm just like if I say a sentence and like it's enough for me to be with a sentence that will establish the quality of a certain logical place that I want to stabilize. So it's quite elegant to be firm and clear with the fabric of motive that you stand in, like to discern modes of speech and their grounds of like authority or their grounds of coherence. Like with this kind of elegance, one becomes clear clear of the fruit they are aiming to grow. So it's a bit I think this is a true gift. If I would speak clearly, such an insight, if I could just be the voice of it in this world. This would be a gift. So maybe there's another leg here. It's always significant when just on the white surface, the spaciousness of it, the way lines can define space, it's quite special and quite powerful, and I believe there is great potency in this capacity. How does one handle an imagination of space in, like, when the space is empty? How is one able to imagine space when there are no objects? Maybe qualities of space, or even expanse, like proportions of space, proportions of distance. Like, for example, if I'm in this room, do I always have the feeling of the vastness of cosmic space? Do I consider myself to be in such scale of being, or do I generally consider what is my general perception of space? What is the scale? What is the... I find this as quite significant in a certain way, and I think it will make sense it will come together. So I'll return to the sentence that was, they decided that this capacity shall become widely available. They decided that this capacity shall become available in this world. They decided that this faculty shall be organically cultivated in this world. So maybe this character has like a shawl, which is in the wind somehow, I'd say. I think it's not only playful or refreshing to give it some kind of material, to give it more materiality. More than just some abstract indication of anatomy, but real, just some indication of it being in a real environment. So I would like it to be red. This shawl. Yeah, it's like a shawl. Okay. Now the whole world is red.